people were in and out of this house factor into the case against Brian Koberger.
The fact that this Kings Road house was a party house is a huge big deal because it expands the universe of suspects. Who was there at the time of the murders? What was their connection to the victims? Who had access to this home before? Did they have possible motive to kill? For months we've been calling this a party house. This is a party venue.
One of the most important parts of this case is that DNA. And what we know is this is a party house. We know that there were hundreds of kids in this house. It could even have included him. And the thing is if he was in this house, are you suggesting that these four know everybody who's been there? I doubt that. And as a result, if he says, I was in this house before, that's why my DNA is in this house. Now we talk about that, and we talk about DNA transfer, and all of a sudden, you might have a completely different trial.
Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for education purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple incident that took place on the 13th of November 2022. May the four victims rest in peace. Condolence to their families. If Brian Christopher Koberger and his defense team says that Brian Christopher Koberger used to party in this house, or he could have come to this house in a party invitation to a friend, or he could have come along with someone. So he could have just said that he's been in the house a couple of times, because we actually don't know if Brian Christopher Koberger knew the surviving roommates. He could have come with anyone to visit this house. For him to have come to this house 12 times, 13 times, counting the 13th of November, if I look at it this way, that just say Brian Christopher Koberger did it, that could have easily explained why he came back at 9:15 to collect his knife sheet. If you notice that he had forgot it there, that's possible. Or he could have actually borrowed his knife and knife sheet to someone in the house. He could have known one of the victims, one of the surviving roommates, and they could have told him about an incident that they're concerned about, that they're going through, and Brian could have offered to lend them his K-bar. And when he heard about what happened early in the morning, because the news is spreading anyway like wildfire through social media, so when he heard about it, he could have come to the house to see if he could basically find a way to go inside the house and get his knife and his knife sheet. But maybe when he came, the knife was gone, the knife sheet was there. I've always said that, what if the knife belonged to one of the roommates? I've said that for over a year. It could have belonged to one of the surviving roommates. We don't know who it belonged to. Because let's be honest, if Brian Christopher Koberger purchased a K-bar knife, by now they would have got it. They would have got the receipts from Amazon and all. And I don't think they would have kept that a secret. They would have told us by now. There's so much things missing in this case that it does not make sense at all. So imagine if Brian Koberger says, I was in that house, I used to party there. Or that I was hiding it, I'm a recovering drug addict, allegedly, and I was buying pills, or I was buying something, white for the nose or something, whatever, I was buying something, because I was going through a rough patch and because of addictions and such things, that he was maybe buying it as these commercial rugs. Could that have been possible? And I showed you the Venmos of, what's her name? BF in 2021-22. There was words like COKE that was used clearly. If you go back to the previous clips and watch it. So was that what maybe Brian was purchasing from that house? Because there's a cab driver who said, a local cab driver who said that he drove many of his customers there to purchase rugs. Now this is a local cab driver, and local cab drivers would know all the gossip. They would know everything. So could it have been a rug deal that went wrong? Could it have been the fact that BK lent one of the victims or one of the surviving roommates, especially one of the victims, his K-bar knife, and it happened? Because for the police to go through a lot to make this as a cover-up is a bit, I think, too far-fetched, honestly. It's just that I believe there's something that they're not telling us, something that we are missing. And I really believe that one of the surviving roommates knows BK. And I really believe that Brent Kopacko could be involved because of all the military skills, because 3 weeks later, the SWAT team incident, it took 8 hours for them to unalive him. He was holding hostages as victims. No, he was holding his roommates as hostages. They were basically victims and he let them go. But he wouldn't give up until they unalived him. So this all can't just be a coincidence like the Four Figures Running. Everything can't be a coincidence. I think this quadruples happened because of different reasons. There was a lot of hate, a lot of revenge, a lot of nastiness going on in the college. Especially, let's be honest, look at the vandals, look at their behavior. Look at the behaviors. There is so much that we have learned in the social media, and there's so much that is still hidden from us. I sometimes believe that I don't think it was the intentions to unalive them. I think things got out of hand. I definitely believe rage, hate, jealousy, rugs like steroids and the Davids, the 4chans, the Jacks. I'm not just accusing them. Doing so much research, checking so much articles, reading so much articles from the beginning of this case, I always just say that I don't believe that BK is completely innocent. There could be a chance that he's innocent, but there's more chances that he's involved. I believe the other people involved. I can't understand and figure out this. A whole quadruples unaliving happens. 4 people died. And can you believe they let the whole college, university students go home if they felt like, and go home for Thanksgiving? What kind of sense does that make? 4 people have lost their life. That means the people who went home could be suspects. They could have important DNA. I don't think most of the people's DNA was even taken. Jack Showalter left town that night. He drove to his family's cabin in Boise, Idaho. I heard the police spoke to him over the phone. So how would they know if his fingers had cuts or anything? How would they know? If you speak to someone over the phone, unless you have some powerful people behind you, it doesn't make sense. It should have been a red alarm at once, immediately, and they should have called the police when they heard it took 8 hours for the surviving roommates to call the police. If I was the chief, I would have said, hold on, now this is serious. We need the FBI to investigate this because they have more experience, because we don't want to be putting victims down if they're real victims, and we don't want to be letting suspects go pretending to be victims. None of that was done. There was 3 unidentified male DNAs in the house. What happened to it? Guess what? When Ann Taylor started asking so much about asked so many times for the 3 unidentified male DNAs, we saw even Mr. William Thompson, the prosecutor, was almost having a heart attack when he was asked for it. He was having high blood pressure. He said, if you don't have it, what are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to get it from? Excuse me, sir, you're supposed to get it from how you conducted the investigation to start with. You're supposed to get all the results of everything you sent to the FBI lab or to Idaho lab. This doesn't make sense. You had 3 unidentified male DNAs, and just because they're not found in, was it called COTUS? Just because they're not found in COTUS, that doesn't mean that they didn't do a crime. This can be their first crime. People just don't start with stupid small crimes. Sometimes they start with more serious ones because sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes things go too far. So I really cannot make sense of this. They did not want to purchase the 3 unidentified male DNAs. What do? They demolished the house. Wow. And then you have the fact that this house belongs to 2 men that are running, I think, a real estate agency. They own many houses near 1122 Kings Road. What happened? They just donated the house that is worth $450,000, $500,000, $500,000. They donated it as a gift to the college. Where does that happen? They did this on purpose, that's what I believe, because once you donate 1122 Kings Road and the ground it stands on, the grass it stands on, if you give it out as a gift, you're not going to be paying a lot of taxes, I believe. And when you give it out as a gift, then it goes to a new owner. So the previous owner's names are out of the case. What are these people hiding? Where was Hunter that night, and where was his girlfriend Emily? Because the reason I ask is because they used to hang 24/7 with Xana and Eaton. Where are those 2? They lived only 2 blocks down. They lived in that little blue-gray house. Hunter was there to open the door for the cops the other times around. Let's not forget. When the cops knocked at the sliding door, it was Hunter who answered it. When they knocked on the front door, the day they spoke to Maddie, it was Emily who opened the door first. Many people thought it was Bethany Funk. They look a bit alike. It was Emily with the black shorts that opened the door. She said, I'll call the owners. She went upstairs, and then we had later on those 2 fools coming downstairs, Hunter and I believe the other one's called Eddie. The reason I call them fools is because they were wasting the police time. The police were even really getting rude and angry and upset. And they're saying, don't F with us and all. Don't try all these lies. We've been through everything. everything you're going to say. And pay attention to how the police immediately understood that Hunter was from, because I've heard another YouTube creator, which I don't really want to mention, who said that Hunter, who always defends Hunter, she said Hunter's not from the Sigma Chi, he's from another fraternity. It doesn't matter, I really don't care which fraternity he's from. But for me, the reason I find him to be very crucial and very important is because he was the first one DM and BF, or one of the surviving roommates, called. So all the questions obviously goes to Hunter. He was the first one besides these two surviving roommates, allegedly, who came inside the house, went upstairs, went into Xana's room, moved the bodies around, tried to revive E. He was calling 911. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, I'm sure, going on behind. That's what the 911 operator said. There were multiple people screaming at the background, so she couldn't hear what was being said. I wonder, why are they keeping the 911 call a secret? Why are they still saying that it's under a gag order? If this case was so solid, and if the prosecutors and everyone had everything they believe was solid in this case, ask yourself one thing. Would they be dragging this for so long with each and everything that the defense attorney asks for? These people, the prosecutor and the prosecutor's office, is not even handling. They're not handing over all the evidence that they're supposed to. They're getting rid of the 3 unidentified male DNAs. They demolished the house. They took 7.5 weeks to find the white Hyundai Elantra. The description they gave of the Hyundai Elantra was 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. They did not say it was 2015, but later on, after 7 weeks, when they found Brian Christopher Koberger's Hyundai, that is the time they changed even DM from just surviving roommates to becoming witnesses. None of them were witnesses in the beginning because DM and BF were sleeping in the first floor. They're sleeping on the first floor. So when did they move to the second floor? Imagine there's a stranger in your house, a quadruple unalivings are going on. 4 people have lost their lives. All the yelling, screaming, everything going on. And the surviving roommates are trying to say, one is trying to say, I believe she slept her way through it. That's BF. And the other one is trying to say she opened the door 3 times. But in the beginning, she said she was sleeping in the first floor. So what is the truth? DM, were you sleeping downstairs? Were you sleeping upstairs to the second floor? If you are sleeping in the second floor and witness the man with the bushy eyebrows and the half mask, my question is, when did you move up to the second floor? How many days or weeks or months were you sleeping in the second floor before the 13th of November, 2022? Where was Bethany Funk that night? Did she see any fights? She was at the Sigma Chi. Let's not forget. What does Brian Christopher Koberger say? Bethany Funk has exculpatory evidence that can exonerate me. What is the exculpatory evidence that she has? And finally, I hope that they change, that the judge grants change of venue, because this isn't fair for any defendant to defend themselves in a small community where these crimes have happened, and he's getting charged for it without proper evidence yet. They need to give him his rights but he's granting him another venue that aren't so emotionally, physically, mentally attached to this case. I don't blame Idaho Moscow. They're going to be attached to this case because it happened in their county. It happened under their watch. It happened under their university. And you can just see, just the quiz, the fact that Ann Taylor sent the quiz questions, you saw how much nonsense it created with the prosecutor making it a big deal. It seems like this whole community are working together against the truth coming out. Brian Koberger could be innocent. He could be guilty. He could be involved. He could have known about the crimes and had not been directly involved. He could have been directly involved too, but I personally do not believe that one person managed to unalive 4 people, leave 2 surviving roommates, one of them who actually saw the suspect, and leave the dog alive, unalive 4 others within a couple of minutes, and then drive like the night rider and not be seen until 7 weeks. Make it make sense. If I did not see those 4 figures running, I would never look at the Davids or look at the Sigma Chi fraternity. There was a reason I always had my eye on the Sigma Chi fraternity and the Jacks. You see my channel, I'm the only one who actually usually puts out Jack D on his fingers and all the injuries he has on his face. And I do it for a reason. Because Jack D is one of my first suspicious people. I don't just believe this is a crime of passion, I believe that there were many other suspects involved. But Jack D, yes, had something to do with this. Whatever happened at the corner club. Maddie, what did he tell Adam? I told Adam everything. Wonder what everything is. Was it about drugs? Was it about money? Was it about trafficking? Was it about something that nobody was supposed to know about? Could Jack D have been a jealous boyfriend and he wasn't supposed to know that Kaylee moved on, that she bought a car, that she's taking a dog that she shares with Jack D and she's moving far away to Austin, Texas? Could that have been what Maddie told Adam? I've heard some channels saying that Kaylee's phone hasn't been found. We don't know anything about that. It's only the police that know. But we know the fact that Kaylee's phone, the person was actually saying that, the YouTube creator was saying that Kaylee's phone, the last calls, after the last calls to Jack D, Maddie and Kaylee's phones had no more calls. No one called them or they didn't call anyone. That is not true because according to Kaylee's sister, Olivia, her older sister, Olivia Stevenson, who's not married and has children, she said herself that 13 hours after the police came at 11:58, Kaylee's LinkedIn account was logged off. And I think she had it on her phone device because she said she got an alert, Olivia. So somebody had to have gone into Kaylee's phone and logged off, I believe, her LinkedIn account. So whatever activities were in the LinkedIn account of Katie's phone, Maddie, and Zan and E, we would never know. It's only the FBI and the police will know till the court. And we don't even know if then they will decide to share the information with us. It's just that there's so much secrets to this case that you start wondering, especially that the fact that some of the students who got the quiz questions from Ann Taylor, BK's defense attorney, called the prosecutor, William Thompson, and complained that Ann Taylor asked them about questions and what questions she asked. That just proves that there's bias. It just feels like it's a team of wolves. It's just like that they've already discussed it, like if anyone contacts you all, contact the prosecutor and let him know. This is just so unfair. And I don't understand where Howard Blum is getting his information from. Because it seems like right up to today, Koberger's family is on his side. They've never said that they believe their son did it, or the father was worried and the sister told the father such things, and the sister told the father she believed Koberger did it. There's so much speculation, so much rumors, and even the mainstream news wasn't telling us completely the facts. They said that, was it Brian Enton, I believe, who said that when Koberger was arrested, he said, "Did you catch the others?" I've been searching for that, and it's only on one or two. I believe News Nation, I think it's on, but Koberger's lawyer has spoken a lot, his previous lawyer, Jason LeBron, and he has never said that Koberger said he was guilty. Koberger's looking forward to exonerate himself. I wonder where everyone's phone, like the 4 figures, pinged. Saeed's phone, the 3 guys on Banfield, the person who was driving the truck at Taylor Avenue, or the people who went home from the grub truck. Where did their phones ping? How many phones pinged towards Kings Road and Queens Apartments? I really believe there's someone inside the house who knew everything, one of the surviving roommates. Someone was informing the suspects, whoever is going to come, about when the girls got home. They must have said, leave the door a bit open, the sliding door will come from there. It could have been anyone. This could have been about money, revenge, rugs, jealousy, steroids, the Davids, the 4chan. Honestly, it could be about anything, because there's something the university is definitely hiding. The fact that I say the surviving roommates is no, it doesn't take 8-9 hours to call the police. You can't be victims for 8-9 hours. Aren't you scared that somebody will come inside the house again? Aren't you scared that the bushy eyebrow man has seen you alive now, DM, so he may come back after you? Quite strange. How come they didn't put you in witness protection program? Because the person who unalived the student saw you. Weren't the police and your family and yourself worried that the person would come back? Because the person saw you. Why don't you put on witness protection program? Just a question. I've been thinking about that for a while. It doesn't make sense. You didn't come to the memorial. Neither did BF. The suspect who did this horrific quadruples allegedly saw you, but you felt safe to come back. you felt safe to stay in the same college that the person who did this unlivings is out and is watching you, and he knows that that once you testify he can get life, or you can get life sentence. This doesn't make sense. Make it make sense, Dylan. Was it Idaho, Moscow that gave you the bright idea that since you're in a whole level of pickle now, you might as well say that you're sleeping up in the second floor and you heard these noises and you heard Kaylee playing with her door, but they didn't think about it properly, because if Kaylee was playing with her dog Murphy, she would have been definitely sleeping in her room and not Maddie's room. Why would two girls and a dog sleep in a single room when it's bigger in Kaylee's room? And I'm sure Murphy's used to sleeping in his bed, in his room, in Kaylee's room. So I don't think Kaylee was unalived where she was found. She was found in Maddie's room, but let's not forget she was playing with her dog, according to DM. She heard someone who sounded like Kaylee who was playing with the dog. So that means Kaylee came running to check what happened to Maddie. She got thrown on the bed. And then after the person did the evil acts, they left. They could have, I personally believe they got Ian Zana right when Kaylee and Maddie are leaving the grub truck or when they come home, because you hear the crowd yelling Zana, Zana, Zana's name and E's name. So I think Zana and E could have been taken before. Unless Kaylee and Maddie went home and they got attacked first. Let's not forget David Lodge went right. He went 5 minutes before Kaylee and Maddie went home. He left the grub truck with his friends. So did he go to their house? Were they hiding in the bushes and waiting? What's her name said, Alivira said clearly that our sisters came home with a private driver. So I think she watched the neighbor's dash cam and they went inside home. They locked the door. Then they took their dog Murphy out for potty, and then they came home and they locked their door. They did everything that they're supposed to do. So was someone standing outside and stalking them and waiting for them? Well, let's come back to that important question. What happened that night that made DM and BF comfortable not to call the cops for 8 hours? Is it because they knew the people who did this? Was it the Sigma Chi boys? Let's not forget, I told you before, David, no sorry, Jack Showalter and Bethany Funk and DM. All three of them know each other from Boise, Idaho. They went to the same high school. So could they have pre-planned this? Motive could have been many different things: jealousy, hate, anger, rage, steroids. There's a lot of things going on. Enviousness. Please let me know in the comment channel what y'all believe. And I hope they change the venue. That is important. Have a lovely